That's when you became a journalist.
That's when I became a journalist.
What was that transition like? Because now you're a proper journalist. Like I've seen your documentaries, like it's hard work, isn't it?
Well, Yaxley-Lennon, do you know Yaxley-Lennon? So Ezra run a media company. It's the first alternative media network, and it's in Canada, called Rebel Media. So I come out of jail in 2015, I've left the English Defence League, and I go back to work, and I haven't got time. Do you know what it was? I was a great leader to the English Defence League, because in the first 6 months, my door went off, I was raided 3 times, I was put on conditions, they limited my money, froze my assets for 4 years. Done all these investigations trying to shut us down. They targeted us because the grooming scandal we were talking about, they've all got dirty hands. And when I say that, Rotherham, say for example the Rotherham scandal, the police officer in charge of Rotherham at the time of the height of the rape scandal, where is he now? He's the head of counter-terrorism. I'm on a terrorist charge right now. The same people that are worried about what's going to come out, they've not been demoted. They've all been promoted.
Okay.
Through the Labour Party and the police forces, they're all sitting in the highest ranking positions of power right now. That's why Labour can't allow this big investigation. They cannot allow it. Why not? Because all their politicians are part of it. They're all the people in councils or in positions of power. They've just gone up and up and up. None of them lost their jobs. They're all rewarded for covering up. Police force, for example, in Manchester, there was a girl called Victoria. Was it Victoria? A girl called Victoria died of a heroin overdose. Police launched, this was before the grooming scandal was public, police launched an investigation, identified 100 rapists, arrested them all, prosecuted them. Just as the trial was about to start, CPS collapsed the whole case, just deleted it. The police officer who was in charge of that and collapsed it, then won an award by our royal family, highest award 6 months later. He was rewarded. They've all been rewarded. Where are they sitting now? They've rose up, But as they tried to crush me at the start of the English Defence League with the dawn raids, with the police raids, all these different things, I said, that doesn't work with me. Like, trying to shut me up just made me want to, and it made me the most dedicated, as I said about things taking over, it took over my life. I become a great leader to the English Defence League, but probably not a great dad, Certainly not a great husband, okay? I certainly, so it
took. But you found your purpose.
Yeah, I found my purpose, and it found my purpose, and it become more than that. I'm a very deep thinker, and I'm trying to have this conversation with my ex-wife and her family when she was getting threats to be killed and police warnings that her life was in danger, and I've got her dad sat there saying, "The hell are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong." This needs to be confronted. But trying to say that and explain that I look deeply and think there's 1,000 years of Christian English history here. It's gone in 60 years. In 60 years, we've let this country be taken over by
what the London Real Investment Club actually does for you. It gives you the keys to open that door to the inside deals. In the last 3 weeks, I've participated in 3 incredible deals: a layer 2 Bitcoin protocol, an incredible AI protocol. The deal flow is beyond what I expected. I don't think I've ever seen a model like this that just gives average folks the opportunity to be behind the deals, and that's exactly what we've done. Not only that, you get to hang out with Brian Rose every week, and for me, that was huge because I look at Brian as somebody who's not only an expert in the space, and I think is on the leading edge, but just the leading edge of thought with London Real and the work he's doing there. To anyone who's taking a serious look at this, I know it's a big decision. It was a big decision for me and my family, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I wish you all the best and hope you come join us.
Medieval, barbaric mindset in towns and cities, and we've done it because we're too scared to be called a racist or something. Fuck off. Really? When you think about previous generations who were 14 and 15, who pretended they were old enough, they lied about their age to run into a beach with a life expectancy of a minute, and they done that to make sure they could safeguard a safe and prosperous Britain for the next generation. And we're worried about losing our job? So I sat there and thought about it. I thought, no, not a chance, like at that time. And I think that we've bred a generation of cowards who care about ourselves rather than care about the wider community. And I'm trying to say that to my ex-missus, is just like, yeah, I've got 3 kids, but this ain't about our kids, Jen. This is about a generation of kids. This is what's happening and it's real. But the difference is, now the public know it's real, but we knew it's real. People in Luton and towns like that, we've known it's real for so long. So as I said, I decided to leave the English Defence League, and Ezra said, I've done a couple of interviews with Ezra, and he said, will you make a video? And he sent me a camera, and he sent me all the stuff. I'm useless. I don't do computers. I've never had. So he sent me all this stuff and I never used it. And he kept ringing me. I said, and he kept hassling me that much. I said, I'm working, Ezra. Yeah. And I made one video and it was about Sweden, I think. And it was me talking about what's happening in Sweden. And I've managed to, when I read things, they stay in my head so I could just talk about them. And I made a video and it blew. It went really well. And then he rang me, he said, what are you earning doing your building? I said, why? He said, I want you to make videos full time. And I said, okay. I said, so then, but my wife, I'd come out of prison and promised her. Yeah. I'd come
How
out
many times have you been in prison, Tommy?
About 6.
6.
All for work, all for journalism. Like that people talk about my criminal record. I've never been tried by a jury. I've never been convicted by a jury. It's always the judges. Never get a jury. So then I made the videos, and then Ezra, I become a journalist, started making videos, found my niche, and then not just found my niche, but I get a buzz. If you go watch my Oxford Union speech, yeah, I walked into Oxford University, and it was the first opportunity. I'd led the English Defence League for 5 years, and every time I'd been on TV, I just got shouted down. And they'd always pick the behaviour of the English Defence League, yeah, which was pretty indefendable at times. Yeah? They'd always pick that, but I'd be thinking, no, we've got a great argument here. Like, you need to listen, yeah. But no one would listen. So it was having an adverse. It wasn't getting what we needed really to win the hearts and minds of the public. I walked into Oxford University and they hated me. If you ever go speak there, anyone who goes to the debating chamber of Oxford University, you get taken for a 3-course meal. I didn't. So I got invited, but not invited, really. And when I walked in, no one would shake my hand, and everyone was pretty rude, and they were booing me. And I got up to talk, and he gave me, they said I could have 45 minutes, but my presentation was an hour and 14 minutes. So I said to him, he goes, no, you've got 45 minutes. And I stood up and started talking. It was my first chance in 5 years to tell people my story of Luton. And I kept asking the crowd, this isn't where you grew up, but think about what you would have done if it was. That's what I kept asking them. What would you have done if this... So, for example, when September 11th happened, at my local shops, they had posters celebrating it everywhere. Magnificent 19. And I showed them on my presentation.
Really?
I said, these are my shops. They weren't your shops. But when I went to the shop, this is what I saw. When at our local college, they all celebrated. They're all jumping around partying when the planes hit. The Muslims were. So I said, not your college, but my college. This is what I saw. When this happened, I showed Stacey Dooley when she walked through Luton. Do you know Stacey Dooley? No. She won like Dancing on Ice. She's become pretty famous. I grew up with her. But I showed videos of her when Muslims were attacking her. So I show all these different, there were 68 attacks against non-Muslim homes. So I'm trying to show the people to say, like, you may not like me, yeah, from what you've heard of me, but I was created in Luton because of the problems in Luton. And I just want you to understand. And I remember the bloke, they let me do the presentation, and I went from being hated at the start to getting a standing ovation from Oxford University, and then all of them coming up saying, I never knew this. I said, no, because they don't. And then I had Edinburgh University, York University, they cancelled everyone after that. Everyone was cancelled because they must have thought, shit, people are going to listen to him.
What year was this, Oxford?
2015.
15, okay.
And then but then at that point, I'd become a journalist, and I'd become the most watched journalist in Europe. And I exploded on the scene. And I exploded because I was covering stories that no one else would. I was going into mosques and looking at the history of the mosques and the groups and the terrorists, finding them, tracking them down, talking about the rape gangs, which no one wanted to.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.